In the world of anime, there are series that stands out not only as masterpieces of storytelling, but as emotional roller coasters that grips your heart and never lets go. Today we dive into one such anime that has left its mark on fans around the world: Attack on Titan. We will explore why this show is not just good, but truly emotional and brilliant. Before we start, there is no way to talk about this show without any spoilers. So, if you haven't watched it, my recommendation is to go see it now. If not, be warned of spoilers. Are you ready? Grab the popcorn and let's get started. Attack on Titan is set in a world where humanity's last remnants live within enormous walled cities to protect themselves from giant creatures who devour humans, called Titans. The premise alone sets a tone of despair and fear that resonates throughout the series. What truly makes Attack on Titan exceptional are its complex and deeply relatable characters. Eren, Misaka, and Armin, among others, undergo profound character development as they grapple with their desires, convictions, and the harsh reality of their world. From Eren's unwavering resolve to uncover the truth, Misaka's fierce loyalty, to Armin's intellectual growth, it's impossible not to become emotionally invested in the unfolding narrative. The action sequences are intense and emotionally charged as the characters fight against overwhelming odds, facing loss and making lots of sacrifices. The battles themselves are mesmerizing in their fast-paced action scenes, accompanied by an epic music. The use of the omnidirectional mobility gear, which allows soldiers to zip through the air and attack titans from all angles, adds a unique and exhilarating dynamic to the fights. The difference between the human soldiers and the Titans emphasizes the David versus the Goliath nature of the battles, as the Titans themselves are massive and terrifying, creating a sense of dread, making each encounter all the more exhilarating. But if this was all that Attack on Titan had to offer, it would have been just another action shonen. The show delves deep into the politics of the world, the power struggles, and the corruption of the human society that we kind of find all over the world, even in our reality. For me personally, I think that the mystery of this show is what made it stand out so much. At first, I had so many questions. What are the Titans and where did they came from? How did they manage to build these tall walls while under attack by these giant creatures? What is outside of the walls? And so many more questions. Slowly, but the more I watch, the more it answers my questions. And not just that, but the show keeps changing with each season. It introduces new elements and new mysteries that if we compare the first season to the last season, we could not recognize it, in a good way. As the show keeps the same vibe, but the more it answers questions, the more it opens new horizons to explore. And so the narrative changed, and the characters grew. The show is filled with impactful moments throughout its narrative, but one of the most crucial moments in the series would be the basement revelation. The moment occurs in season 3 and it's a turning point in the story. Eren and his group finally reach the basement of his childhood home, which had been the goal since the very beginning of the series. Inside the basement, they discover hidden journals and a photograph from the world outside the walls, revealing that there is a world beyond their enclosed society. At first, the show is all about surviving, but in the later seasons, the more mysteries they unravel, the more we understand that human nature is the thing that defies this world. It's not as black and white, it's a grey world. There are no heroes or villains. It's a world where it's easier to go to war than resolve the conflict with words. And if we look at our own history, we see the same pattern. Humanity will always be at war with itself. We even have the end credits of the show that shows just that: war. The series delves deep into the themes of oppression and desire for freedom. It serves as a reflection to our own world's struggles. This desire of freedom is also what drives the main protagonist, who eventually becomes the antagonist by following this path. The complex exploration of these themes add layers of depth and significance to the story. And after 10 years, we finally got the ending of Attack on Titan. Even though the show has changed drastically from the first season, if we rewatch it from start to end, we can see that we had the end goal scattered into little pieces throughout the series. The changes make sense, with a nice pacing, and it feels like this was the only correct path all along. I mean, if you haven't guessed it yet, the title itself is the ending, Attack on Titan. And let's talk about the ending a bit. For me, the only disappointed thing about the ending is that they could have given us a better explanation of what this thing is. This creature is still a mystery. From what it is shown, it's some kind of ancient parasite, similar to a hallucinogenia from our world, that survived since the beginning of Earth's life. But that's it. It doesn't explain much of what it is, especially how it's capable of seeing the future or controlling memories. And maybe it's better that way, because the show's focus is more on the characters. I think that the last conversation between the two friends, Eren and Armin, was a masterful moment of the show. Eren believed that he was a slave to freedom. He had so much power and all he had to do was stop. But he couldn't. And he couldn't understand why until the final moment. He realized that even though it was a really bad idea, wiping out 80% of humanity, he subconsciously wanted this to happen. It was not for his friends, but it was for himself. And I loved that no matter how insane the end result got, they remained friends and got to a similar understanding of each other. Armin, even after realizing the consequences of all of this, he also acknowledged that he also wanted to see a free world, a free, unoccupied world. He had the same dream as Eren, and he also realized that he was the one that put that idea into his friend's head when they look at that book from their childhood. I got to say that this entire moment is messed up on so many levels, but it doesn't feel unrealistic. We are humans, and even though we try and aspire to be good, everyone, and I mean everyone at some point in their life, can create wild and sometimes dreadful desires. It's not something we can control. It's in our human nature. Subconsciously, our mind can create some of the most unimaginable things, and even if we deny these thoughts, they are still there. Of course, we can choose not to act upon them or completely ignore them. We are in control of our thoughts and desires. The ending might have left a lot of fans angry or maybe craving for more, but my personal opinion, even though it raised a lot of moral questions, is that it felt earned and satisfied. And I don't mean to say that I agree with the path that Eren took, but I agree with the way the show is depicted. When you see a movie and start to feel that you hate a character because of his actions and how he treats others, it's because the actor who plays that role is doing an amazing job at acting to make you feel that way. It's the same with this show. The show's narrative and ending is earned and satisfied because of its characters and the writing. So, in conclusion, Attack on Titan is not just good, but truly emotional and brilliant. The world building, the complex characters, profound themes, and the journey itself is what made the show a masterpiece in my eyes. What do you think? Did you enjoy the show? Or do you think this was a failed story with too many chaotic moments that did not make any sense? I think this show will go down in history either for its controversial topics or for its memorable moments and fights, and it will be discussed for years to come. If you like this video, consider subscribing, and if you have a different opinion than me, or simply have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thank you, and I'm out.